camera is not recording. Namaste and good morning. So today is Tuesday, Narada Bhakti Sutra. So let's start with our prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha, Tatsavitra Varenayam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat, Asto Ma Satgamya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamya. ओम सहनावतु सहनौभुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहि तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहि ओम शांति शांति शांति. Okay, our last class ended with verse number 65. तद अर्पित अखिल अचारा सनकाम क्रोध विमान आदिकम तस्मिन एव कर्मे. Having dedicated all activities unto him, one should turn all his desire, anger, pride, etc. towards him alone. Remember, this is a discussion of the Bhakti Sadhana. That's why the name of the scripture is Narada Bhakti Sutra, practice of devotion. To practice devotion, mind is necessary. So the negativities or the positivities we should understand. And what to do with them too. So that's why in this particular verse, he says, dedicate all of them to God. They'll become a direct all your activities towards God, all your emotions towards God. They will get purified. That's the way to do it. So now let's start our class with verse number 66. त्रिरूप भंग पूर्वकम नित्य दास नित्य कांतः भजन आत्मकम प्रेम कार्यम प्रेम एव कार्य. Tri-roop. Tri means three. Roop means form. Bhanga purvakam, transcending. So transcending the triple form. And what is this triple form? Three guns of Prakriti. Satvikta, Rajsikta, Tamsikta. Nitya das, Nitya kantaha. Constant loving service. In the case of devoted servant or wife, Das is the Nitya Das, constant servant, Nitya Kantaha, a wife or a lover. Prem is love, Karyam should be accompanied. Again, Prem is love, Ev means alone, Karyam should be cultivated. So Narad is saying, go beyond the three factors of experiences. Go beyond Tamsikta, Rajsikta, Satvikta. Love. Love which is consisting of constant service. Nitya Das. As in the case of a devoted servant or wife, alone should be practiced. Constant. Without any break. So what he is telling us that pursue and cultivate love alone. No expectation. Prem ev karyam. Devotion to the highest. He says that's the only path. Because this path is its own fulfillment. And this highest is without the triple distinction of the subject, object, and their relationship. That's the Prakriti. And this is the culmination of the peace. Infinite, blissful beatitude of total identification with the goal. So he's telling us the highest love can be achieved by serving the Lord. Either in the attitude of Nitya Das, that means servant of the master, or by Nitya Kant, the constant, continuous attitude of the beloved. Nothing else in the mind. See, Nitya Das indicates loyalty and respect. Hanumanji had that. Nitya Das. The characteristics of a true servant, Nitya Das. And the main and the powerful emotion in Kant attitude is love and dedication. So loyalty and respect as a das, if that is your bhavna, or love and dedication, if you have a bhavna of a beloved. A wife serves the loving husband in love, dedication, and with the total possessiveness also. This is mine. He is mine. That kind of a ownership. A true servant will not have such a love and possessiveness. So these two intensities of mind are found in certain psychological type. Some minds can be very easily be a servant. Some minds can be the lovers. Some are capable of giving loyalty and respect only. They say, how can we be the lover of God? I am a servant. But some have, apart from reverence and dedication and sense of that he belongs to me. He is mine. I am not away from it. A perfect sense of oneness. So we got to look at it. What kind of a mind we have cultivated? So whether our nature is to serve Lord, either as a servant or as a lover, this kind of a devotion with no sense of distinction between Lord and yourself, that alone is to be achieved. The oneness, the union. This experience of our oneness with the Lord. Such love is expressed in the glory of sages who have realized this fulfillment of devotion. And this is what's called prem ev karyam. This alone is to be achieved. Love we have to achieve. So, in other words, first learn how to transcend the three modes of nature. No tamsikta. Rise above rajsikta. And then the satvikta also. But then at that time, remember, do you consider God as your Lord or as your beloved? And engage in this devotion causelessly. Okay, even if you are loving God as a servant or as a beloved, no cause. Not because I want this out of him, causeless. Because most of the time in our relationships, we put some kind of a condition. We think that if I get this, only then I'll be happy. And when a moment comes, then you don't get something, the love disappears too. No. In this divine love, it's causeless. That's why it's like a hetu. Hetu means cause. where you love for his love, his happiness, for not for your happiness. And this is what we learned in the earlier verses also, when he said, Tat sukha sukhitvam, tat sukh, your happiness is my happiness, or I will love you for your happiness. That's called a hetukam bhakti. This kind of a bhakti, the saints say, they enslaves God. God is looking for these kind of devotees. Kabir ji said, Prem na badi upjay, prem na hat bikaye. Raja praja je ruche, sheesh dan de le aaye. That means this kind of a love does not grow in a field. Na badi upje. And it is not on sale in the market either. Na hat bikaye. What do you have to do to get this kind of a love? Give your head as sacrifice. Surrender completely. Can we do that? That's what Kabir ji said. Sheesh daan dai le jaye. Give your head and you will get it. And what is the sacrifice of your head? That really means sacrifice your self-interest, your selfishness, that you are doing it for yourself. Even loving God for his sake, not for your sake. Oh God, I will not love you with this idea that what will I get in return. I will love you for your pleasure alone. Do I see the smile on my God, Guru, when I do something? That's the only reason I want to do the bhakti. Tat sukh sukhitva. There was one Babaji. He was in this kind of a bhav bhakti. Shri Krishna gave him the darshan. Because God is always looking for these kind of devotees. God is always ready to appear to these devotees. So from time to time, he had a darshan of Lord Krishna. One day, Babaji saw Krishna and he started running after the Krishna. And his choti, the monks, they have a choti, that tuft of hair on the top of the head. It got stuck in the bushes. He thought to himself that Krishna wants me to stay stuck over here. And he is getting happiness that I am stuck here, so I will just stand here. 7 days went by. Shri Krishna saw that this Babaji is not moving. And Krishna's heart melted. God has a very, very soft heart. He manifested in a different form and told Babaji, what is the matter? Are you so lazy that you cannot pull your choti out of the bushes? You've been standing here for 7 days. Babaji said, why are you concerned about it? Then Krishna changed his form to original form. Babaji said that if Radhaji comes with you, only then I am going to get out of here. Shri Krishna called Radha. Then when he saw that both the Jugal Jodi, then he pulled his choti out. No concern about him getting stuck there. He just wanted to have a darshan only. This is called selfless love. The surprising thing is that out of intellect, we always think our own gain, personal gain. What will I get out of it? That is very natural because that's how our buddhi has been working. Even when we don't want worldly desires, there is some kind of a deep emotion within, some kind of a arrogance inside us. And that is the terrible thing. We forget that when we don't want something, when we want only the happiness of God, we get everything. We get God Himself. Just like for that Babaji, not only the Krishna came back, Radhaji came back too. That's why this popular saying, Bin mange moti mile, mange mile na bhik. You have to always remember, this is the saying I'm sure you all have been repeating ever since you were little. Bin mange. It is in giving that we receive. Saint Francis said, it is in dying to the little self that we are born to eternal life. It is in loving that we are loved. It is in giving that we receive. So not even a hint of in our intellect, what will I get out of it? Just give. So when we love God with a selfless cause, then we receive the highest bliss. Bliss of the divine, vision of the divine, company of the divine. We got to learn how to fill ourselves with this formula. This is a formula of divine love. Formula. Love means to give. Give and give. Okay. Business is give and take. And greed is take, take, take. Right? So we got to see what is our formula. So this chintan, this thought process can develop in the mind through seva, service, through sadhana, personal practice, along with the seva. Because in seva, we experience giving. Giving with the body, giving with the mind, giving with the wealth, giving with the material possessions. When we learn to give, learn to serve with, slowly this chintan, this kind of a thought comes into the mind. That I am doing this for the happiness of God. That's it. That kind of a chintan. Not for my happiness, but His happiness. So if we do simply, we keep on doing sadhana and no seva, selfishness does not go away. Our sadhana has to be coupled with the seva. This selfishness has to be rejected to go further. So seva is necessary, essential part of this process of divine love. Okay? Prem eva karya. That's why he is emphasizing that. Now in the next verse he says, Bhagtaha ekantino mukhyaha. Bhagta, devotees. Ekantino. Ek means one, single goal. So ekantino, whose only one single goal is the Lord Himself. That's what it means. So single pointed devotion towards the Lord is for its own sake. Mukhya, primary. So devotees whose sole single goal is the Lord Himself, and whose single pointed devotion towards the Lord is for its own sake, are the primary. Primary means they are the best. They are mukhya, highest form of devotees. We have seen there are two types of love, higher and the lower. The higher is called par bhakti, Lower is Apar Bhakti. So Par Bhakti is the supreme divine love, pure, free of any relationship, just a sheer identification, total with the Lord, demanding nothing, desiring nothing. This is just to make him happy. That's it. He's mine. I want to make him happy. And the lower type of bhakti can be cultivated, raised to the higher. Okay? Lower type of bhakti is for yourself. You are doing it. You want something from God. You are going to God. You remember we learned that Arth, Jigyasu, Artha, Arthi. Remember? From Bhagavad Gita. And Naraji also mentioned those three. Those three are lower kind. Jnani is the one who is the Parbhakti or a Parbhagat. So lower can be cultivated to the higher, but we have to make an effort. So now Narada is speaking of those true Bhagats who have soared beyond the highest of disciples. These are the real devotees who have only one and a single goal. So their love is the primary love. All other kinds of bhagat, they are still in the elementary or secondary type of devotion. They are devotees, but still in the lower grades. So what do they do? These devotees, one great goal. All devouring devotion, single pointed, ek ant. See, this is ek ant no means. They don't want their love or their energy to be dissipated. So meditation without any deviation. One Lord, one teacher, one mantra. Because otherwise distraction can always happen. Temptation can very easily go in our mind, even while meditating. So he alone is the true Bhagat, the greatest of all. Very loyal, very faithful, with no contrary motive confusing his sadhana. Because lower type of a Bhagat will say, yes, I'll go there for this gain, I'll go there for that gain. I'll worship this form today and that form tomorrow because I'm going to get something from those forms. But the Mukhya Bhakti is just one. Ek Ant, Ananya Bhagat. Such Bhagats naturally are the highest, noblest, and the most glorious of all devotees, without exception. That's why Lord Krishna also mentioned many, many times in Bhagavad Gita, Ananya Chintayanto Mam, Ananya Cheta Satam. Several times in several verses, he used that Ananya, Ananya, and this is what Narada is saying. So these devotees' love is not even a means to an end, nor is it the yearning for liberation. Their existence has no other purpose except to seek, discover, and remain in oneness with the Lord. This kind of a mental attitude Narad is talking about. In their moments of fulfillment is described in the next verse also. Okay? But Ananya Bhakti over here, exclusive devotion. So mind is attached to God alone, not what we'll get from God. Godhood. Even when Lord Krishna was in Braj, he saw those Brajvasi worshipping Indra. What did Lord Krishna say? As a little boy, cut it out. Worship the Supreme. More than 5,000 years have passed. We have forgotten those instructions. We have forgotten this important criteria for reaching the goal. Ekant Bhakti. Worship God only. not what we get from God. That's why another very popular saying, I'm sure you all know, एक साधे सब सधे, सब सधे सब जाए. Okay? So just have that goal, one form, one mantra, just connect to that. Everything you do, everything you think will become perfect. This is what's called Ishtadev in our culture. Ishtadev. Loving your personal deity, you will develop love for all. But have to have an Ishtadev, your chosen deity. Your mind will automatically develop love for all. It just happens because you start seeing your sadhana becomes so concentrated. That's why he said it's a primary. Then you will start seeing the same power in everybody. But it has to start from there. Ananya. Again, there is a humorous story about this. There was another Babaji in Vrindavan. He was taking people for a parikrama. Over there, people do parikrama in Vrindavan. Holy visit to the holy places. He was taking about 500 people for parikrama. While he was going through, he saw there was a villager sitting over there. He had his bag on the ground because he was carrying that bag on the head and he just put it on the ground. Started listening to Babaji because Babaji was telling about Lord Krishna to these 500 some people. And you know that villagers have a very peculiar way. They're so innocent way of looking at Babaji. Babaji asked him, "Who are you?" Villager said, "Who are you?" Babaji said, "I am an exclusive devotee of Shri Krishna, Ananya Bhagat." And asked him, "Who are you?" This villager said, "What is Ananya?" Babaji said, "I am only devotee of Shri Krishna. Not the other devatas like Indra and Varun and Hanuman or any other devata." Villager said, "If you are Ananya, I must be a Fananya." Babaji said, "What is this Fananya Bhagat?" He said, "I don't even know other devatas. Don't have any idea about any devatas." Babaji fell on his feet. He said, "You are Ananya Bhagat. You are in the real sense Ananya Bhagat. No idea about anything else." So keep this criteria in mind in which the person is moving towards that goal so fast. So fast. Love for one. Okay, एक साधे सब सधे सब साधे सब जाए. Number 68. कंठ अवरोध रोम रोमांच अश्रु भी प्रस्फरन मानः पाव्यन्ति कुलानि पृथ्वीम च. कंठ अवरोध रोमांच अश्रु भी. With a choked throat. Kantha Avrod means a choked throat. Romanch is goosebumps, horripilation. Ashru means tears. So with a choked throat, horripilation and tears. Prasparam with each other. Lapmanaha. Conversing. Conversing, when we converse in broken words, we can't even continuously speak a sentence. Pavyanti, sanctify. Kulani, families. Prithvim, earth. Cha means also. When they, so these devotees, he's talking about this Mukhya Bhagat, the primary Bhagat, the devotees who they have reached to that level. God and God alone, with throats choked with emotions, body covered with goosebumps, tears flowing down. What happens? They converse with each other in broken words. They sanctify their family and tribe. No, they very earth itself they come to glorify. Not just the family and the tribe, but the whole earth gets glorified because of these devotees. This is what Narada is saying. So first he says, voice choked with devotion, spoken words. Not even sometimes you can raise the volume of your voice because heart is gurgling with boundless love for God. In this way alone can these bhagats speak of the great love they have for their beloved. In the ecstasy, their minds are intoxicated. Only thing they remember is their Lord, His glories. Their bodies are trembling. Their hair stand on end. And the very atmosphere around them comes to overflow with their maddening joy and dancing peace. Because when these devotees, when they meet, sure they talk, just like we talk. When we meet, what do we talk about? Whatever is dear to us. So these devotees, what is dear to them? Only one thing, their beloved. So among themselves, their unique language of communication. They can understand each other. With the broken words also, they can understand each other. Because there's a surging emotion of love on both sides. With the tears flowing from their eyes, their voices faltering with emotion, they hug each other. They dance in rapture because their hearts have been melted at the feet of Lord. Actually, they don't even know how to express their emotions. Because by the time they say even the name of the Lord, they're already weeping in joy. Because they get transported in a state of unspeakable, silent bliss. So, this is what Naraji is telling us, that very earth itself is purified by their presence. Why? Because such bhagats who have reached the peaks of evolution and perfection and peace both in the head and the heart, they have really liquidated their ego. Because how do we muddy things around us with our ego? Their ego has been dissolved in the ocean of love for the Lord. So, glory of these sages, Narad is speaking over here. So, exclusive devotees, they discuss their beloved with each other. That's how they relish his sweetness and they purify the earth. We have heard about Ashta Satvik Bhav. These are some of the bhavs Narad is mentioning over there in this verse. Asht Satvik Bhav. Asht means eight. It's like a ashru is one of them. Continually shedding tears. You don't even know where those tears are coming from. They don't even stop. Ashru. Satambh. The stiffness like a pillar. You want to move the body but cannot move the body. Not just the body, even the subtle body becomes stiff, the mind and the intellect also. Satambh, Shved. Shved means body sweats. And this sweating is not outside, it could be freezing cold, but the sweating is from the temperature of the love within. Romanch, this is in the thrill of love, the hair stand on end, the goosebumps, romanch. Swar bhed, the voice becomes choked with the loving sentiments. Swar bhed. Ve pathu, the body starts trembling in ecstasy, shivering. Ve varnyam, the color of the face fades due to the intensity of the sentiments. And the eighth one is called pralya, losing consciousness, no awareness of this outer existence. So these are called Asht Satvik Bhav, symptoms of divine love, indicators of divine love in the heart. This kind of a devotee purifies the whole world. Outside we can see this, but inside it's oneness with God, with the beloved. I know some of you were writing, so let me repeat it again. Ashru, shedding tears. Satambha, stiffness like a pillar. Shved, body sweats. Romanch, the goosebumps. Swarbhed, voice becomes choked. Vepathu, the body starts trembling in ecstasy. It's almost like a shivering. You don't even know, can't even control this shaking. Vavarnya, it's like a color of the face fades. Pralya, losing consciousness. Total disconnect from this outer world. Okay. So some of these you might have felt here and there, or maybe have seen other people going through it. These are the sattvic bhav for a devotee. Okay. So uh, it's almost like a when we put something in the pressure cooker, the steams goes up. This is what it is. The pressure of that love within has risen to that level where these outer symptoms are seen or felt. Okay? So Narada is giving us a hint about this Ashta Satvik Bhav in this verse. Kanthavarod Romanch Ashrubhi Prasparam Lapamana Pavyanti Kulani Prithvilcha. Let's look at one more. Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Sukarmi Kurvanti Karmani Sa Shastra Tri Kurvanti Shastrani. Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani. So he's still talking about these devotees, the highest level of devotees, the Parbhagat. They enhance the sanctify of the sacred places. So karmi kurvanti, they add glory to all actions. Karmani, actions. Sachashtrihi kurvanti shastrani, lend a charming and compelling authority to scriptures. So these devotees sanctify the sacred places of pilgrimage. They add glory to actions and lend authority to the scriptures. Intoxicated with their love, these people, they move about in this world. They are among us, but in their heart there's a maddening throb of ecstasy. There is a serenity of their purified presence. No matter where they go, the places they visit. So that's why he's saying that they are adding holiness to the holy places. So these are the people, these are the Bhagat who add glory and meaning to action also. And they make a karam, a sukaram. Sukaram means auspicious karam. Whatever they do, it becomes a sukaram. Such mighty devotees are indeed rare. But it is only because of these unique devotees we get the blessings. They bless this world. They have influenced and molded the human character and its nobility. Otherwise, this world is selfish, greedy, jealous world. But they bring the beauty because there's a tolerance in them, brotherhood in them, mercy in them, goodness in them, kindness, and they bring out a general purification of the total vasanas of the world. The destiny of human being is directed by their mere presence. The mental as well as the intellectual behavior of the entire world becomes improved. The effect of these peoples. Maybe there are handful of devotees like that, but effect of those handful of devotees of this caliber, we all count on. In a place of life of strife, hate, quarrels, and wars, these kind of devotees, they bring peace, tranquility, prosperity on earth. Because of these few rare ones in society, we have been able to have and understand at least a little the sacred scriptures. So these sacred scriptures were written by these kind of devotees, and these devotees further they explain it to us in a way where people like us can understand, follow. Otherwise, the scriptures, the Shastras would have been only a glorious vision. But we see the truth which is mentioned in the scriptures lived by these great devotees also. And the Shastras would have no authority had it not been for these great ones and their exemplary lives. They give, or I should say that they alone give the scriptures its authority and sense of realism. These are the mighty masters. They demonstrated to us that self-mastery is achievable. Strength and vitality is within us. When we watch the works of any saint, it's not, we don't see anything ugliness in their life, but there is definitely an added sense of beauty of their own self-sacrifice, selflessness, and there's a very compelling aroma of their constant love for mankind. They see God in us. So this kind of a life can inspire the whole world, can purify the whole world. So this is what Narada is talking about. That these great lives, they lend to the great scriptures an extra authority. Not just authority, authenticity also. Because scriptures are not just poetry. They understand the power in the scripture. They understand the truth which is spoken by the scriptures. So it is these mighty devotees of realization. They serve the humanity because that's what a sukaram is. We do karam all the time for ourselves. They become sukaram when we serve. And they discuss all this with the ecstasy in their heart. So we'll continue with this verse next week also. But let's stop it here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Visheshyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.